Hello and welcome to Season 6 of Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, introducing corporate leaders who have taken the leap to business owner and celebrate their great idea in our guest blog, found on shareyourstories.online. Our guest joins us from St. Catharines, Ontario. Veronica Chordas is the founder of Wanderlust Studios. She provides creative services that ensure your magic is made visible. Her mission is to shape your vision into a presence that feels true, magnetic, and unmistakably you. Let's find out how Veronica creates media connections through the magic of Brand Alchemy, shaping your digital presence to align with your offers and your audience. It's my pleasure to welcome and introduce everyone to Veronica.
Hi, Trish. It's so great to be here.
I thought we would start by you explaining to our viewing and listening audience what brand alchemy means, because we know what creative people do in taking our vision and our image and putting it out there to the world. But what is brand alchemy? What does that actually mean?
I have a pretty unique process. My clients tend to be on the edge of the magical and woo world, and they really appreciate when things authentically represent them. So I have mixed in from my past lives.
Yeah.
So I'm a former life coach, yoga instructor. I've gone on that path, and so I really understand that world and understand the magic behind it. And I infuse using those techniques in my branding process. So I look at their astrology chart. I have them meet with a human design expert, and I'm looking at the possibility of bringing in Akashic records as well, just to really get that visionary piece, that purpose very clear for not only them, but for me. So, and that whole alchemical process of bringing all of that information together into a visual brand is really what the alchemy is. So, translating all of that into something that works in our visual online world.
Yeah, and our visual presence for sure, because the whole purpose of this podcast is introducing the person behind the logo, because we all know that people buy things from folks they know and trust. So you're trying to get a really interesting message across about the individual as well as the product and or service that they provide, right?
Exactly. And I really, really love Simon Sinek and his whole approach to everything. And we get to the why, we get to the just cause. Those are his phrases and words.
Yeah.
So, and it really helps the entire process is kind of like working out your business plan.
Sure.
So you have to be really clear on all of that before you can have a true, powerful brand that is authentic and attracts the right people. So,
I love that you mentioned the business plan, because, I remember back in my coaching days, and you would sit with a new client and talk about, creating a business plan, and they rolled their eyes and they were like, oh my God, really? But really, we can't get to where we're going if we don't have a plan, right?
exactly. I say that all the time. When you go on a trip,
You
there's
plan it.
multiple ways you can get there, but you know the
Right.
end destination. And so I use that analogy a lot. And along with traditional branding techniques and my little magical things that I do, I combine it all, and I love doing it. It's so much fun getting to know people
Sure.
and co-creating that vision with them.
So give me an indication as to we all have websites, we all are part of social media handles, everyone's sharing content. Is there something that you have noticed in the last, say, 6 months that has come to the forefront in terms of ways in which to communicate with our target market or our existing clients? Because we're always looking for something new. So is there something that's come to the forefront?
So it's continually changing, right? So
Right.
and just when you think you have a hold on it and you get a pattern going, it changes again.
Hmm.
So unfortunately, our attention spans have dropped immensely,
Yeah.
and short little videos are really the things that are on social media in particular are really the things that are getting attention.
Hmm.
However, if conversion is the trick.
Right.
And while you may be getting a lot of attention on social media, it's really important to have the proper funnel in place where they may find you on social media, but how are you bringing them into your world beyond that?
Right.
So having an email list is great because you're guaranteed to get into their inbox rather than will they see me as they scroll, you know.
Sure. Sure.
Um, but yeah, videos are catching attention. I think TikTok has had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
And the result of TikTok, YouTube created shorts, uh, Facebook has shorts, Instagram, I think Instagram is mainly video now when you
Yeah.
scroll through it.
Yeah.
So that seems to be what's grabbing
Attracting
people right
attention.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what's really interesting is I obviously do shorts of our show, right? And I
Mhm.
share them on, the various different social media channels. And I have to say that we're averaging around 300 views just on Instagram with those little
Nice.
30-second shorts. So
Yeah.
to your point, they work, right? Because
Mhm.
people just want a little snippet. And then if they're interested in hearing the whole interview or the entire dialogue or all of the tips that we've talked about, then they'll go to their favorite podcast channel or to the YouTube channel where they
Right.
can sort of see the
Then they
person.
dig deeper. Yeah.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. Now, I've been hearing lots of talk about newsletters and the fact that people are saying they're making a resurgence, to your point about having a
Mhm.
mailing list and ending up in people's inbox with a specific message. Are
Mhm.
your clients also experiencing this resurgence or a revisiting of the idea of the newsletter?
Yes. I think I think every one of them uses a newsletter. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's kind of what's old is new again.
right. And I think it's because we're craving that personal connection.
Right,
So even though we know it's a newsletter, it's if it's crafted well, it feels like they're talking to us.
right.
And the other thing is, there's a really cool thing that somebody that I follow actually has been doing, which is asking a question in their newsletter and then giving a personal response, which that's really cool. I love that idea.
Mhm.
And with the increase of AI and who knows if this content is real kind of feeling that we all have, or if a robot created it, I think that we're going to move more and more towards that personal connection and actually having conversation. So how do you get those conversations started is
Right.
is the question.
You mentioned a really great phrase, and that is you need to have a sales funnel that will take people from where they visually see you, whether it's your website or your social media channels, and then feed them into a place where you can then create or start to build a relationship.
Mhm.
Is there a tip that you can share with our viewing and listening audience that would help folks to complete that conversion? Because that is the magic, right? That's what we're all looking for.
Yeah, it's hard. So the biggest tip I would say is to be consistent. Whatever you choose, stick with it
Right.
and give it some time before you switch again. Because if you continually are switching, then that's going to cause confusion for your audience. So once you decide on a path, that client journey, how they're going to come into if you have a community, a lot of people are building communities, whether it's a Facebook group or something on Mighty Networks, and more community platforms are being there's a new one I never even heard of that just came out. I can't even remember the name of it. um, so bringing them into your community in that way, whatever
Right.
that path is, stick with it for a little while and then evaluate the different steps and see maybe where you're losing them. And it's really important to remember that the website is only a piece of the entire digital marketing ecosystem. It's not, if you only have a website, it's kind of a silo and nobody's going to find you. So,
You know, what's interesting is somebody had said to me in your world, actually, in the creative world, that said, a website is now no different than a business card used to be,
yep.
right? It's like validation that you are actually a business, right?
Mhm.
If you receive an unsolicited email, or you're scrolling through your social media feeds and you see someone's handle, the immediate thing that we do is go to the website to see if they're a legitimate business and how they operate and who they are. And
Yep.
I
That's
found
so
that,
true.
yeah, I found that a
Is this
really,
junk mail? Let me type in the
exactly,
URL.
exactly. And I found that was a really interesting way to build recognition and connection with those folks that maybe you haven't met yet.
Mhm.
From your creative point of view, how often should we be updating those websites? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes, I mean, they sit there for years and nobody ever thinks to update it or provide a new picture or, include a new link or whatever the case may be. Is there a rule of thumb that you're finding where people are saying, okay, every, I don't know, quarter or once a year, or, is there something that you can share with our viewing and listening audience that says, okay, every, quarter you should do a deep dive on your website?
I don't know about a deep dive every quarter. I would say, as far as updates go, you should be updating your site about once a month with a blog post or something, whether you change out a picture or add a new link or something, because that lets Google know that you are active.
Right.
And that will help your rankings when somebody does a search. It's also very important to keep up with SEO trends. So there's great tools. You can even just use Google and find out what are the keywords, what are people searching for that is related to what I provide
Right.
or what product I have.
Mm-hmm.
And updating those keywords. SEO is a constantly moving target.
Right.
And if you want to be on those first couple pages when somebody searches, you have to keep up with your website. Um, and having everything connected to it, like I said, it can't be a silo. So think of your digital marketing as a web, a spider's web. And the bigger the web, the more insects you'll catch, right? So if you have social media channels coming in, if you have like YouTube, if you have resources that you're referencing and linking to with backlinks and things like that in your blog posts. Every blog post has the opportunity to be found in some search. So it's really key. If you think of the website as the hub, you want everybody to come to it. So while it is kind of like an electronic business card, it's more powerful than that. It can do more.
Love that analogy. I love the spider web concept because it's a great visual, right? Because
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. If you have a podcast and it's not linked to your website, you're probably missing a whole target market. And also giving them an opportunity to connect with the products and services that you provide. So that's a really great tip, I think. I would have never thought that monthly updates were something that we had to consider, but when you go through the things that you feel need to be updated, it makes perfect sense.
Right. And then deep dives maybe once a year.
Right.
So and then reevaluate, is this still how I talk to people?
Right. Is it
And
relevant?
is it relevant? And also looking at Google Site Kit can be connected to the back end of your website. I think regardless of the tool that you use, whether it's WordPress or Squarespace or Wix, and looking at those analytics and seeing where am I losing people?
Right.
If they're coming on the page and they're leaving within like 15 seconds, then you need to evaluate that page and see why.
Right.
So,
Now tell us who would be, you mentioned at the beginning that, you sort of serve creatives and the folks who are kind of in that we'll call it health and wellness sort of space.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Are those the folks that you would consider to be your ideal client?
Yes. Also, I work a lot with nonprofits, and I have a few small businesses too. So for me, if you are creating something positive in the world, then that's who I love to work with. So whether it's creation, whether it's making life fun, like a travel agent, or
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. So I have a motorcycle shop, I have a travel agent, I have massage therapy, and everything from, just enjoying life, basically.
Oh, I love that. I love that the target market that you serve are really the folks who are trying to add something positive to all of our lives, right?
Mhm.
They're trying to give us that leisure, that fun, that connectivity. So that's really great. I think you've got a really interesting target market. One of the things that we do in our guest blog is we talk about 3 words of advice. And I would like you to wrap up our conversation today, giving folks the idea as to why your words are important to you in your business. And they are: be visionary, magical, and authentic.
Visionary is something that comes naturally to many people. You have people that are visionaries, and we often get, what's the word, curated by our world.
Yeah, that's true.
Or conditioned by our world, where
Yeah.
we think that that vision is either not good or not right, or it doesn't fit, or whatever. So learning what your vision is and actually going for that dream and that vision is what I mean by that. And true visionaries don't ever let go of it. They continually strive for what they're after in life. Magical is something that I hold dear because I find magic in the everyday world. Every time I go outside and see anything in nature, it's magical to me. And even down to our technology, it's amazing that we can hold these little screens in our hand and everything that they do. It just reminds me of Star Trek,
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. And it's okay to be magical and to connect with that world. And it's not weird, or we all do it and we all have that piece of us. But I think we're afraid to put it out there into the professional world because we'll be seen as a strange person. And uncovering your own magic is something that I love to help people do and really connect with it. And then we make it visual. So finally, authenticity is something that in business and in life, people connect with you when you're genuine and you're authentic. And imitating anybody else, or that person has, 10,000 followers, so I'm going to do everything that they do, chances are you're not going to get those same number because you're not being true to yourself. We're drawn to that. Like I said before, like with all the technology and AI and everything, we want genuine connection, genuine conversations. So authenticity sells.
That's very true. And I love the fact that you have given us some really practical tips on things that we can actually implement now. And I really like to thank you for that, because the marketing and the advertising and the visual image that we project is so important to our sustained success. And I'd like to thank you for sharing all of those wonderful tips with our viewing and listening audience.
Absolutely. It's so great to be here. Yeah.
To you, our viewing and listening audience, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for this edition of Keeping It Real, introducing you to the person behind the logo. If you'd like to connect with our guest, you'll find Veronica's contact information in the description portion below. I'm Trish Tonai, author, artist, and the founder and host for the series, and we invite you to share your business story. Just visit our website at shareyourstories.online and subscribe to our channel, Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real. Veronica and I would like to thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to meeting you next time when we share another great idea.